Take it on. Well, we're going to pass around the tip jar, so please be generous. Anything else I need to cover?
Is that for me?
Yes.
And also, if Leroy can explain exactly what you're, because I'm confused about how many businesses you're involved in. You kind of like to know that.
Okay.
As an introduction.
Okay, Leroy Zerlang. I'm port manager for Brusco Tug and Barge. I take care of everything for Brusco Tug from Humboldt Bay to San Francisco, including the barges that come in here. Brusco no longer has local tugs in Eureka because of the tugboat wars that are still going on, and changed as of 2 o'clock yesterday. Canoes and Towboat is no longer going to be here. Canoes and Towboat has been sold to Humboldt Bay Towboat. So we have Humboldt Bay tugboats here now, and pretty soon that's so far what we'll have. Port captain for Brusco Tug and Barge. I own Zerlang and Zerlang Marine Services, which is the largest marine railway haul-out facility between San Francisco and Crescent City. We take care of probably 60% of the commercial fishing fleet, most of the commercial vessels on Humboldt Bay. I'm an agent a ship agent for every shipping company that comes in Humboldt Bay, Transmarine, ACGI, Talon, Inchcape, where basically we handle the ship's, the owner's interest in the ship. We take care of the ship, we take care of the crew, we take care of the pilots, tugs, longshoremen, make sure the crew's good, make sure everything's lined up for them, all that type of stuff. What else do I do? Madigan's our baby. Madigan belongs to the Humboldt Bay Maritime Museum that my father founded in 1977. In 1983, the Maritime Museum bought it. And we're very proud to say that her season will start here real soon. Oldest passenger carrying vessel in continuous service in the United States. Smallest licensed bar in the state of California. 109 years old this year and in pristine condition. It took 50 years of fighting, begging, stealing, whatever they could to keep her going. And right now it's a good little operation. Last year the Madigan carried 27,000 people, and the Maritime and the Madigan is now helping, which was the goal to support the Maritime Museum.
Hey, go ahead.
So that's good. Let's see. Marine surveyors. We do marine surveys from Crescent City to Fort Bragg on most of the commercial fishing fleet. And other vessels. We're involved in just about every aspect of construction on the bay. We've been involved in dredging the bay for the last 2-3 years. City of Eureka. Working this evening to pull piling out for the Harbor District. A little bit of everything is what we do. Okay?
Thank you.
So this one, what everybody wants to know about is what's going on with the fabulous entrance to Humboldt Bay. In the last year, every year we have a situation. Every year we have a situation at the Dolos. Right here. The entrance is supposed to be dredged and maintained at 48 feet at mean low water. The channel on the inside of the bay, starting at this line about right here, is supposed to be at 38 feet. They dredged it in 1999 at a cost of $19 million. And unfortunately, really, it never has maintained at 48 feet. They've never been able to keep it down, even though that is a deal that was supposed to be handled by the Army Corps of Engineers. The vessels that we're bringing into Humboldt Bay right now aren't requiring 48 feet of water. If we had the entrance to 38 feet and the channel to 38 feet, for just about every ship that comes in right now, it's good. Unfortunately, the winter swells, the winter conditions take that away from us. Two problems, a very severe problem right here, and our regular problem right here at the Dolos. Right here, we're down to 34 feet right now. So at 34 feet, your ship draws, a fully loaded chip ship draws 32 feet, roughly 32 feet. It's got to have 2 feet of under keel clearance between the bottom of the boat and the entrance channel to come and go, and that's based on a 6-foot tide. We're down to 34 feet right now. That's kind of normal. Usually the dredge, Army Corps of Engineers, shows up here in June, digs it back out, and we're good again for a while. What's happened this year, what's happened in building up over the last couple of years, and happened the last time we treated this job was 9 years ago, is where buoy number 9 is. Buoy number 9 has turned into, this area here, has turned into a severe life-threatening problem. First of all, we lost buoy number 9. It broke loose. It was retrieved. But where buoy number 9 is, or was, there's a 12,700-pound sinker, anchor, a giant concrete block that's got 120 feet of chain on it. We should have 48 feet of water. In the past years, we've been lucky to have 38 feet of water. Right now, today, we have 13 feet of water. And that 13 feet of water is extending out. Go to the next picture, please. So we can do that. There you go. There's the, this is the old foghorn station. That's buoy 11. Buoy number 9 is right there. This is the turn, making the turn into Humboldt Bay. This here is the area that's severely shattered. 13 feet, and it's halfway across the channel. So right now, because it's halfway across the channel, the pilots, the Humboldt Bay Bar Pilot Association, has a draft restriction on deep draft vessels of 21 feet. So anything that, there's no cargo. California Redwood has enough cargo for 3 ships right now, and they're not able to bring anything in. And usually when we're at 34 here, we could do a half. Only load half the ship, then it goes to Coos Bay and takes the rest of the cargo. But because of this situation, the pilots can't get the ship around the corner. So deep draft is dead. Barges are okay. Fuel barges are okay. Fuel barges have a restriction on them. In-house restriction, high water maneuver only. So they only come in at high water. And the fuel barges only currently draw on 16 feet of water. So they're safe to come in. The chip barges are safe to come in, providing that the conditions are good. The problem that we have is this chain. Currently, I just came back from there, currently the Humboldt County Sheriff Department and the AID team, AID's navigation team, is down there trying to find that anchor chain.
Like diving?
They're not diving yet. They're trying to find it with a megatrometer. Hopefully they're successful. The government Coast Guard buoy tender, the Aspen, unfortunately, too, is in dry dock. Okay, so it's tied up. In order for the Corps of Engineers to come up here with the Uquina, that chain's got to be gone. Otherwise, they can't dredge because the amount of damage the chain will do to the stinger would just put it out of business for the whole West Coast. Yes, sir.
How wide is that?
That channel is approximately 1,000 feet wide.
That's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah. The cooperation that we have with the Humboldt Bay Harbor District, the Humboldt Bay Harbor Safety Committee, which they put me in charge of, unfortunately, Congressman Huffman's office, District Coast Guard, big Coast Guard in Alameda is phenomenal. The Army Corps of Engineers is a pain in the ass. And I don't want to say that too loud because I don't want them ticked off, but to get information from them is hard. I mean, we're going behind every corner that we can, but we're getting cooperation. The cooperation is phenomenal on this project. This will be the first time in my lifetime that we've had a dredge here in April, maybe in April, compared into June and July. And that could be here within 2 weeks, providing that stupid chain gets picked up.
When did that chain end up?
The chain broke loose, buoy 9 broke loose about 2 months ago. Yeah. It's 120 feet long, and it weighs about 15,000 pounds. It's a big chain. Yes?
Whose responsibility is the buoy?
The buoy is the responsibility of the U.S. Coast Guard, and they're being very cooperative. Tomorrow, a dive team is coming up from Alameda. The fireboat, the Harbor District's fireboat, Coast Seafood's equipment, my equipment, and Coos Bay Tug are all on standby. Everybody is pretty much at this point volunteering to get this thing opened up and cleared. The problem at number 9 is not only has it stopped commercial traffic, it could interfere with your fuel barge in the future. It could interfere with all that, but at this point it's not. Is that when we say it's life-threatening is because it is life-threatening. When we have a problem on the entrance at number 3 by Dolos where it's 34 feet, we know. It's kind of predictable. You know that you come in on a flood tide. It's rough, you come in on a high flood water at the top of the flood because it calms everything down. This son of a gun is unpredictable. I was just down there with the sheriff department, and it's as flat as this beach right now. And in 1 second, a breaker came and they had to run with the tail between their eyes. It's totally unpredictable. Never, take that back, 9 years ago, we had a situation here where we wouldn't cross the bar with a tug. I personally have taken a window out here in my tug before. Rock and Roll Alley is Rock and Roll Alley, and it is what it is. But never have we not taken out a 90-foot tug because rock and roll was so rough we were afraid to get the tug across. What's going on is that your small boats, your crabbers, crab season is now unfortunately also coming to a head. So everybody that was crab fishing is now looking for money because they didn't make it in crab. So everybody's gearing up for salmon. So not only do you have the boats that were crabbing that are going to begin salmon fishing, you're going to have all the other boats from up and down the coast also coming up here for salmon fishing. Plus your recreational salmon boats will be starting here real soon. I've been around here for 50 years, half a century, and this winter is the only time that I would not take my small boat from North Bay to South Bay because I didn't want to go around. Okay, that's how severe it is. It's dangerous. It's totally unpredictable. Again, you could say that, you know, we cross the entrance on a flood at high water. This one here, doesn't matter. I mean, it'll break on you at any time. Okay? So, the plan is to get this taken care of. Sheriff Department, ATON's down there right now. Our Coast Guard divers are coming up tomorrow. Friday and Saturday, they hope to dive on it. They hope to retrieve the chain or at least get something on it. If they get somewhere where we can connect it, the Kalutza will come down, try to pick up the anchor and drag it out of the channel somewhere where the Coast Guard cutter buoy 10 Aspen comes up, which is currently in dry dock until the middle of June.
Okay.
And so the idea is to drag it out of the way.
Well, what's holding the buoy in place now?
The buoy's gone. The buoy's tied up to the Coast Guard.
Covered it.
Oh, it's tied up to the Coast Guard station. Tied up to the dock.
Oh, it's just tied up.
It's just tied up to the Coast Guard station, yeah. That's the goal. And if that's the case, then the Corps of Engineers will bring up the dredge Uquina, which is getting out of dry dock right now in San Francisco. It's got 1 week of sea trials in San Francisco. Come up here and dredge this section here, so that just this section for right now, 160,000 cubic yards. Whoa. To take out of there. Why? Nobody really knows the why, but anyway, let's keep going on this. The Uquina will come up here and take out this section right here. They have 14 days that they're available to do this, up. So everything is weather dependent trade. Okay? Once this section is opened up, then the bay, then rock and roll becomes safe again for the crabbers, the commercial boats, and the recreational boat. In June, the Corps of Engineers has hired the Manson dredge, the Bayport, and I'll show you a picture of that in a minute, the Bayport to come in here, which will do the entrance all the way around. They can't bring in a big dredge here right now because there's no water. It's too shallow to bring in a big dredge. There's really no other way to do this. The Corps of Engineers did put out a request to every contractor everywhere to find out what equipment do you have that can come here to do this. Well, because it's so bad here, no equipment. A barge can't come in. There's no way to hold the barge to dig it conventionally with a bucket. It's a very sad situation.
Yeah, I got
The bad.
He's doing the lecture right now. Who's this?
I'm waiting for the Coast Guard to call me.
Okay.
The bad situation is that with the Uquina coming to
Okay.
do
Can
this,
you call him in about
is
an hour?
we lose the Uquina
Okay, that's all right.
for the rest of the bay. The Uquina is the smaller Corps of Engineer dredge that should go up and do the Bonnie Gould dock. It should do F Street, where we couldn't get to, and Woodley Island Reed and that whole inner region. So that's a dilemma that everybody's working on. Huffman's office has been great on trying to figure out how to make this happen.
You got a $7 million a couple of years ago.
Yeah, so that's working. The problem that we have is
the money, it's the money is the problem, right? In other words,
money, budgeting,
yeah, budget, yeah.
money, budgeting. The other problem is there's only 2 Corps of Engineer dredges. And both of them are also getting old, and they're not available. It's better, to be honest with you, it's better to use a private dredge than use a Corps of Engineers dredge, because the private dredge is hired by 300,000 cubic yards of mud, and they don't get paid until they move 300,000 cubic yards of mud out. The Corps of Engineers comes up here, and they've got 10 days. So if you have 9 days of bad weather, you don't get anything done. But they're so busy because they've got to do all the ports on the West Coast. The situation that we need to be working on is a situation that's been addressed many times, but the Harbor Safety Committee and the Harbor District and the city and the county, I mean, everybody's working on it, is that we got to come up with a solution to the problem. We can't every year be crying wolf. There's got to be a solution. The Corps of Engineers wants $2.5 million to do a study. They'll fund they'll fund half of it, and then the other half has to be funded locally here to figure out what we do. Go to another picture. Sick of that one. There you go. We can figure out what we can do to keep this from happening. It can't happen every year. I mean, we can't be closed down every year, and it can't get worse. Why number 9 went to hell this year? Nobody really knows. I mean, there's a lot of thoughts on it. We all know that the problem is the Eel River is bringing the sand down from the Eel River, and it's coming right in here and fills this up. Why in the last couple of years it's hit this area, nobody really knows. A lot of people think, and I'm half in agreement with them, that south jetty the north jetty is in such poor condition that it's sinking, and the sand's just coming through, eroding right through to fill that area in. Ideas in 1999 when they did the super dredging here and took it to 48 feet, I didn't even know if that was a good idea, is they dug a glove right here when they were digging out the entrance, so that sand would fill in that dredge, that glove before it came into the entrance. Well, that glove is completely full now. So that sand is just walking right underneath. The Elk River is also part of the problem. A lot of the sand is coming from the Elk River. They think coming in, it piles up right here when it goes around the corner on the ebb tide. The erosion problem that this bay has for the last 15 years is phenomenal. I'm not going to blame that on global warming, but if you go for a boat ride, if you took a harbor cruise, or if you went for a boat ride, you'll see things that we've never seen before. The Nickerson, what we call Nickerson, the trees, the eucalyptus trees by the Blip Base or the city-owned airport is completely eroded away. I've never seen anything like it. The road between Fairhaven and the Coast Guard station, on the bay side, is washed out. I mean, it's half washed out. I mean, never have I seen anything like that before. The city of Eureka's outfall line was never exposed. It's totally exposed. So for one reason, maybe it's because of over-dredging, maybe it's because we went too deep at one time, but for some reason, the bay is slowly eroding. And I don't think it's global warming. I don't see that happening. This is your entrance, your north jetty, your south jetty. Your channel, you got to remember, is on the south side. This is Rock and Roll Alley right here. The north side is shallow, it's never been dredged, so it's always more nasty than it is on the south side. It's always nastier on the ebb tide than it is the flood tide. I was trained, and most people are trained on even a perfectly calm day, as flat as this floor, you never cross on the north side because of the possible steamers. What happens is you have the swell coming from anywhere from Japan, China, wherever it wants to come from. It's coming this way, then on the ebb tide you have all the water coming down this little hole. And when the two collide, you have a serious problem. Another view of the entrance. Two jetties. Rock and Roll Alley. This is where the situation is right here. This is the Manson dredge, the Bayport. It's a hopper dredge. It's got two stingers on each side that go down with a large jaw and high pressure, water pressure, and a screw, like a corkscrew. It actually chews up the bottom of the entrance of the bay, puts it on the inside. It goes out to what we call the hood, and it dumps offshore, then comes back and does it again. These are just random pictures from the Maritime Museum. This is on the north side. There's the fog signal. The breakers on the north side. This is the Uquina, the smaller of the two Army Corps of Engineers dredges. The Uquina isn't big enough to do the entrance channel, but it's small enough to do shallow water, the inner reaches. That's what it's used. That's the Esseance. That's the big Corps of Engineers dredge that has the entrance.
They're always in Hawaii when you want them.
They're everywhere. Yeah, like right now it's in dry dock. Or no, the little one's in dry dock. Esseance. Here's a miserable day. This is this year. This is when we had 20 footers, 25 footers on the entrance bar. Right here. This is the hole. This is the bath right here. When you get to buoy number 5, you're safe. You figure you're safe coming in, and you figure you're safe. You're getting into it going out. Put your life jackets on. This is a massive day. This is the area here at the North Jetty that appears to be sinking. I mean, years ago you were able to drive from here to do a bar check, and I went down there the other day and I had to back up the whole way because it's all the sand is gone. I mean, there's that look at that.
You mean on the top of the jetty?
Yeah, yeah. And the jetty is tore to hell. I mean, there's holes in it. Yeah. The Corps of Engineers is coming up here this year. Maybe it's 2020. To do some work, to start some work on the north jetty. I'm working with Larry at the Harbor District that the Corps of Engineers has their plan, and I'm not being negative to the Corps of Engineers. The Corps of Engineers has their plan, but it's also time that this is where everybody's got to come in. If we want to fix this problem, we got to work together here and pull this together somehow. The Corps of Engineers has to talk to the locals. So instead of coming and dredging where it doesn't necessarily need to be dredged, they got to come in and dredge where we think it needs to be dredged, if it's possible, in order to keep this port open. There's no need to take a section of the bay down to 48 feet when the entrance is only at 34 and it doesn't do any good. And that's where it works. I'm getting offline now. I'm going into history now. Rock and Roll Alley. Unpredictable. Commercial crabbers are half scared of it. Most of them are going on the opposite side of number 10 to stay away from it. A lot of them aren't even crossing at night because you can't see. It is so unpredictable. This is, now we're really getting into history. This is a situation. Humboldt Bay is claimed as the Columbia River to be one of the worst entrances on the West Coast. Now, why Coos Bay doesn't have these problems, and why Coos Bay has the growth, and we don't have, nobody can understand. Humboldt Bay is a very poor barge channel entrance. A very poor barge entrance because it's so shallow and it's so narrow that you have a tug and you have a barge behind it, and it might have 500 feet of wire out, and that 500 feet of wire could go down 90 feet, and your entrance is only 48 feet deep. So if you don't keep constant tension on that wire hits the bottom and the barge will go anywhere it wants. And the tug keeps going forward until the next one picks it up. And because it's so narrow that the wandering of it, I mean the tug could go in a straight line and the barge could be over on the other side of the channel. This is the lumberjack. These, like I said, Don got these out of there. That wrecked, I think, in 1968. A lot of homes were built out of the lumber that just had on it that went on the beach that people took. It was salvaged. It was salvaged in Gene R. Metals and couch boats. Yes, sir.
Are there motorized barges that come up here?
No, barge is not motorized. Yeah, there's new ones called ABSs that are actually composite units, kind of like a Manson ship, where they hook up to it and become a unit. But no, go ahead. This is your North Jetty. This is on a rotten day. This is the construction. That's the north side before the dolos were put in place. The dolos work very, very well. I mean, a boulder, a 30-ton, 40-ton boulder is absolutely nothing for the ocean swell to pick up and move. And the dolos are made so that the harder the ocean hits it, the tighter they lock together. Pretty incredible. This is the sand season. This is the Corps of Engineers dredging. That's the Pacific. Construction of the jetty is dangerous. It's hard. This is a tragedy. The Humboldt Bay entrance has always been known for tragedy. We're luckier today than we have been in years ago. Weather, I mean the cell phone, you could go around the world with the cell phone now, with your modern day GPS, with the Coast Guard and NOAA and their weather reports, with the weather buoys that we have offshore, the buoys that we have, unfortunately the buoys that we have, like number 9, like number 2, that should be at the tip of the South Jetty, has also gone. And that has all the wave rider buoys on it. That will give us the information, so we're down to 1 buoy. We don't have the, knock on wood, we don't have the accidents that we've had. We haven't really had a serious incident on the Humboldt Bay. Bar, knock on wood again, for a long time. This is the Ruth Ellen. This was in the 1989, 1988. It was fishing for Lazios. See the hole right there? Ooh. It was in the entrance channel. Buoy number 5, got it made. It was fishing off a Redding Rock. I don't know the story, but it went down loss of everybody. And nobody could ever figure out what happened. Just that one perfectly square rectangle hole in the side of a prop of a ship hit it, which was one of the. This is your entrance. This again is recently in that last big storm. Those are probably 30-footers out there. Here's your entrance. Rock and roll's right over here. That's buoy 7, 5, 7, and 9 should be right there. And that's not uncommon. I mean, it's not uncommon to have that swell and that breaker in the tips of the entrance. What's uncommon is to have the danger at number 9. And the problem, again, that everybody needs to work on is what's the solution? Is it to extend the South Jetty? Is it to dig a little bit deeper on the north side of the channel so there's a place for the sand to go? That study needs to be done at some point. It needs to be done soon. What we're doing is we're losing our tonnage on the shipping, and our tonnage is what brings the Corps of Engineers here to do the dredging. Without the tonnage, you don't get the dredging. Without the dredging, you don't get the tonnage. So it's a situation that needs to be addressed somehow. Go ahead. You quit it right at the tips. This is the shallow spot usually right here at number 34. That's not really that big of a, it's a problem with the ships. But the ships can also go around it. Many times, we'll take the 2 tugs, the pilot boat and the secondary tug that's back up here around the corner, and they'll use the 1 tug, which will actually be the guide for the ship to get around the shallow spot. But we can't do that at number 9. That's not available. Random pictures.
Were these taken by the Coast Guard?
I'm not sure. These all came through the Maritime Museum. Okay. So that's where we're at. It sounds like right now we're moving forward. Cooperation is great. Problems not solved. Resources coming up here as fast as it can to get it taken care of as fast as possible. It's sad to see that we won't get the inner reaches. Doug with the Uquiddiv, it has to spend all its time at number 9. Corps of Engineers needs a kick in the ass because they're hard to deal with. Coast Guard's been great, Harbor District's been great. I think we're doing everything that we can without doing the impossible.
Did you say that the city hasn't done, I thought they did the body bull.
Body bull dock is dug. I'm talking about the channel getting to the body bull dock.
Oh, out in the harbor, I mean, the Army Corps channel.
The Army Corps channel, yeah. Yeah, the body bull
So
dock
that's
is-
why it's the Uquiddiv could do it.
That's the Uquiddiv, yeah.
If they had time.
Yeah, Uquiddiv. The only, you have a bad section in the Eureka Inner Reach. The city of Eureka side is done.
That's what I thought.
It's actually pretty proud of ourselves and the city for what they did there, and all of you guys, what everybody did there. Bonnie Bulldog is down to 22 feet. The problem is the channel getting to, but the tall ships will be fine because we got a path around for them. The problem is the channel in front of Woodley Island going up to Eureka side. There's spots where it's down to less than 9 feet. So, and the Corps of Engineer has not been up here with the Uquiddiv in over 7 years. If the Uquiddiv did come up there and did do that reach, they could do part of the Woodley Island side, which would at least put the Coast Guard back to where they belong on the outside of their dock. Because who knows what they're doing? I have no idea. Yes, sir.
You mentioned the study that's going to be done, and so after the study's done, is it going to be a number of years before that the project would get happening?
The study's not being done. The study is being proposed, but the local government, whoever, has to come up with the other $1.25 million to match the Corps of Engineers' $1.25 million.
Okay.
Study, who knows? Study could take, who knows?
So the problem's not going to go away for a while?
You're looking at a long time.
Yeah.
You got a long time left of us crying wolf every winter to keep the entrance open. The only thing that's saving us this year is because everybody did, the Harbor District, the City, the County, Safety Committee, did declare it such an emergency. And this is not